Hello everybody, I'm Benjamin Blade, the Tabletop Blacksmith. Today I wanted to talk about off-the-table gaming. Off-the-table gaming refers to playing with characters or with the Dungeon Master outside of the normal weekly or monthly or bi-weekly games that you are running in Dungeons & Dragons. It's always difficult to manage a group of people, let alone a group of people who just get together to play a game. I have mentioned before, I'm married. I have 3.5 children. I find it very difficult to get away when I can. Being the Dungeon Master, it's important for me to have that open communication with my significant other and with those others that are in my life who have just come to accept the fact that on Tuesday evenings, I am going to be unavailable. That being said, there are circumstances that can come up where my schedule might change on a Tuesday night. There are circumstances where the schedules of players might change on a Tuesday night or on whatever night that is that you're gaming. Things happen. I don't think that it is necessary for the Dungeon Master to remove them from the game. I've heard a lot of different tricks from other Dungeon Masters and Game Masters who run their games where they will have that character go into a Pokeball, or that character turns into a spectral wraith and follows the party around, not doing or interacting with anything. I have had Dungeon Masters who come up with creative stories why they're going to be away for a prolonged period of time. Having served in the military before, there are times when some of my players who are fellow service members of the military had to go away for training. It was unfortunate, but I still wanted their character to be a part of the story, to be a part of the game that was going on, without having to take over their character for months on end. I have built a great rapport with my players. They know that if I take over their character for a week when they're going to be out, that I'm going to play their character the way that I have seen them play them. I have great players at the table who all do a great job of role-playing their characters and what the decisions that they are passionate about and what the decisions that they would have made had they been at the table. And I have built that rapport so that I could have that trust with them, that I'm not going to allow other players at the table to steal from them or kill off their character while they're away just because they wanted to mess with them while they were away. That isn't how we run our games at the table. But again, no one's fun is wrong. If that's something that you and your friends are encouraging and having fun with, by all means, continue that. I always give my players who aren't going to be making it for a week or aren't going to be able to make it for a certain number of sessions to play a mini game, basically, with me over Messenger or over a text message or over email. I develop a situation where their character is going to be making decisions, and based on what their decisions are, I will have them make rolls and keep them in the game around where the party is moving. There are certain times where it wouldn't narratively make sense for them to be in the middle of a boss fight and have one of them suddenly have a desire to go look for strawberries. When they are out of those heat of the moment times, I find a reason that would make sense, that is plausible for them to be away, and to be away for a short period of time where they are planning on rejoining the group. One of my players was going to be out of state for a while, and it was at a point when the party was trying to make a decision of how they were going to get to a destination on a treasure map that they were following. It was at that time when I had an NPC from the player's background find them in the city that they were at, where they were about to make the decision to head off to the south, and request that they take care of some family business for that NPC. The player who was not going to be with the party was going to be ending up in the same area as where the treasure map was going to end off, and I made it possible for that player to meet up with the party at the time when they were about to head into where the treasure cave was. We use any means possible just to send quick messages back and forth. I would send a player a brief description of what is happening and then ask what decisions he would like to make. Based on the decisions that he made and based on the rolls that he would make during certain skill checks and during certain fights that would happen via text adventure, he would be able to gain experience, albeit not as much experience as the party who was coming during that time. He was still able to keep up generally with the party. A Dungeon Master can work with you and with your schedule. If you're away from the table for a prolonged period of time, please just reach out to your Dungeon Master. Tell them what is going on. Of course, they will try and work hard with you to make it so that you can come back to the table. I think that Dungeon Masters have this amazing tool to be able to bring to life more history and more narrative for the story and for the world that you're living in by having these adventures away from the table. In the campaigns that I run, a lot of the history and of the story that is happening around the players actually occurs off the table. When I have players who reach out to me and ask me decision-making questions, I always follow with open-ended questions. Why would your player do that? Is there something in your player's past that would lead them to make that decision? By asking open-ended questions and by engaging players out of the game room, you are leaving a great window of opportunity open for the adventure to take on a completely different life. So, Dungeon Masters, if you know that there's going to be a member of the party who's going to be away, or they have reached out to you and talked to you, ask them if they would be interested in playing a text adventure about Dungeons and Dragons. It sounds silly when you say it, but it is a great way to develop a rich history with that one player's character that they will feel more attached to. Not every player would like a text adventure game. If you do have that opportunity, I highly recommend taking it. Players, if you have a schedule that isn't going to work on certain days when the game is going to be running, reach out to your Dungeon Master. Ask them what you can do to maybe gain experience so that you're not losing out and falling completely behind the party during those times. Ask if there's things that your player could do in order to receive a certain type of reward. It's not the worst type of metagaming if you address your Dungeon Master and ask them what it is that you can do to become the character that you want to become. If your Dungeon Master is going to work with you on it, have fun with it. Respond in a timely manner when you can get to the story and be as creative as possible. It leaves open a great window for you to be able to really roleplay and understand what your character is off the table. Obviously, when you're at the table, sometimes there's that groupthink mentality where you maybe have one person who's more strongly spoken than the rest of you. But I have found that when I engage players off the table about their character, then they feel more confident in being able to play as their character at the table. I really enjoy watching that come to life, having a player who may have been a bit timid before finally understand what their character is like and start playing as them at the table. I really appreciate all the feedback that I've gotten from everybody, and I am excited to do the next video. The next video I'm going to do is on magic items, and specifically named and the naming of magic items. I think that it's something that brings another level of awesomeness to items that should be a rare find in the world. Me and a few colleagues are getting together and we are going to be launching a Kickstarter October 17th, and we're very excited to offer it for everybody. It is miniature magnetic terrain that is able to be put together on the fly, and we're very excited for it. We have some videos posted here that kind of address what it looks like and how it works. We also have a boat that is going to be offered with it. The reason why we're building all of these is because we love on-the-fly type gaming. We love games that run in a giant sandbox where you're never exactly sure where you're going to end up, but you know it's going to be a good time when you get there. So we tried to build that terrain with that in mind, maintaining that all of the terrain that we're making is multiple use, that it has maximum utility that we can find. That is what we're hoping to bring to life, but we don't have the materials and equipment that we need to do it and sustain our high level of quality at the volume that we want to produce it. So that is why we're doing the Kickstarter. That being said, if you like the video, go ahead and please subscribe. Comment below if you would like me to talk about anything in particular, or if you have any recommendations of what I could do better. I really appreciate it. So thank you everybody, and remember, D&D is life.